So this is the double page spread for my third concentration piece. So initially, in the first place that I put the double page spread for this piece, I had called it Fashion in Germany, and I claimed that it was Berlin fashion in the late 1940s. So I did some more research, and I actually found out that this is a picture of a vintage Dior shoot from, obviously, again, the late 1940s, and it was supposed to be some haute couture, Paris, France kind of fashion photo shoot. I don't know if it was in Berlin or the details of that. I searched far and wide, but of course, since it's a vintage photograph, I couldn't find out much about it. But it turns out it's actually French. So things I want to accomplish with this piece, I want to give the impression of an old-fashioned photograph, which is why I'm going to be using a monochrome grayscale color scheme, so black and white. And then I want to use that color scheme of black and white in both this piece and Concentration 4, because they're connected. They're both fashion in different countries. And something that I want to also accomplish is to not get too detailed too fast, because I'm going to be using acrylic paint, and that's something that I often struggle with when I'm using acrylic paints. So here's just a semi-detailed sketch of what I'm going to be doing on my piece of paper. Speaking of paper, I have surfaces that I could or might use. I mentioned gessoed paper, a canvas, or a gessoed paper bag, but I believe what I'm going to do is I've cut some mixed media paper, and it's going to be the same dimensions as my other concentration pieces, except of course it's not watercolor paper. It's going to be, I might put gesso on this paper, but probably not, because I think that it might mess with the integrity of the acrylic paint. So again, I just have this sketch. There's some environment in the background. There's some trees, and there's a wall, and the woman just seems to be standing in the middle or on the side of the street. There's like the sidewalk. And here are the beginnings of some bricks. Obviously, they fade out into the background, and I didn't want to spend hours and hours obviously sketching these in, but this is just the basic pattern that we see going on here of these bricks, and then they follow and then eventually again fade out into the background. And the same goes for this pattern of bricks that are built into this wall on the side. So down here on the bottom, I have colors or shades or tints that I want to use. So I have black basically mixed into some grays here, and then I have some darker gray black shades along here. And then I did something a little bit different on this side. I just practiced some techniques that I might want to use. I haven't done a black and white value grayscale in a while, so I kind of practiced that, and I think that obviously needs a little bit more work because there's some not enough transition here, I would say. So that's something I can definitely work on, is making sure the value is very distinct. So I've just practiced some shading, or excuse me, highlights that I have on some trees, and then just changing value and showing shadows and stuff on the shoes. And then I kind of focused on what I might do for shading and shadows on the cinched jacket. And then I also practiced a pattern that I might do for the bricks and then the wall.